Okay, perfect. So once again, thank you everybody. Welcome to the webinar. Today, what we're going to be covering is the kit work order flow. So let's quickly break down Apptivo at a high level, run through the typical slides. I'm sure quite a few of you have seen all these already if you've checked out any of the other videos, but we'll quickly take a look at what Apptivo is at the core. We'll talk about the business functions, and then let's discuss where kit work order fits into this. So first of all, what is the kit work order? So as you know, Apptivo is a suite of business apps. We have all these different apps from different categories. And yes, the kit work order kind of falls into several of these. It's one of the apps that connects together applications from these different categories. In particular, it connects the CRM, the financials, and the supply chain modules. Now, real quick, what's included in the supply chain? Is there's like vendor management, so we're going to have a list of suppliers, and suppliers are connected to kit work orders. We're going to have the ability to take in an order, so you take in an order from your customer and then charge them for that. That's kind of the core flow that's at play here. But then we also have the purchasing. So in particular for the kit work order flow, it's the direct integration between taking an order in from your customer and then immediately turning around and needing to purchase from your suppliers. So you're sourcing the product for each order. Maybe you're just bundling it together and reselling it. Maybe you're drop shipping, something like that. Or maybe you're taking materials and you're building them together into one product and then shipping that off to your customer on demand. Then there's also the inventory management and such, which in this case, yes, the product management's included, but the actual inventory tracking is not included in this. The assumption of a kit work order is that you're going to intake an order, immediately purchase all materials required, and then use all of these materials in that one job to get out to the customer. So this is the typical fulfillment flow. And when I say fulfillment, let's take one step backwards and let's go ahead and take a look at an end-to-end flow. So we'll just hop onto the Apptivo website and check something out right here. It's the product sales process. This is the one a lot of you might have already looked at if you're considering the kit work order, or it's the one that's very closely related. It's for a company who's, yes, selling a physical product, but you in particular need to ship the product out to your customer. You need to track inventory around it. This is in use by e-commerce companies or distributors, anything like that. And we have a guide right here on that. So if we look at this product sales process, the general flow is, okay, you can track sales, no problem. You can do quotes. The quote turns into an order, and then the order can turn into an invoice. You can collect the payment instantly. It's up to you. But the idea is the way you handle your overall business process, you have your sales process up to getting the deal closed, and then you have to track when you close that deal, okay, how are you going to fulfill it? You're going to ship the order out, or do you need to go purchase product in the case of the kit work order? And that's exactly what you use to determine whether this solution is right for you or whether the kit work order solution is right for you. The product sales solution is great for people who need inventory and shipping tracking, but don't have any direct integration with the purchasing. They would purchase just based on how much inventory they have available. Versus the kit work order is when you have a bunch of POs that you need to create every time an order comes in, and you want to save effort by automatically creating those purchase orders and flowing directly in from that order from the customer into what you need to buy from the supplier. Okay, so back to our slide deck here. This is the way that the typical order process works. So customer will call in, place an order, they come online, or maybe you're working on an opportunity, and then you go ahead, you create the order, you go through this pick release flow. It's really meant for like a warehouse type scenario. I need to get the product shipped out the door, and then I'll go ahead and invoice the customer for it. And then we have the purchasing flow, which for both types of companies, it is pretty similar. I mean, you create a purchase order, you send it off to your supplier, and then the supplier will give you an invoice. You'll pay that. You just track that when you paid it. And then, well, in the case of the Orders app, you would receive the product into inventory. But in the kit work order, our flow is a little bit different. And here's an example of what you can do with the kit work order. So in particular, during the sales process, like where a kit work order can originate from, yes, you can just go ahead and create a kit work order from scratch. A customer calls in, you immediately enter in a new order. But in particular, it has a lot of value when you come from an estimate or even before, like in a sales opportunity when you're going through your normal business flow. So what you can do is when you're piecing together this estimate in the first step, you're actually able to, you put all the products together for your customer, just like you normally would, and then you're actually able to define the supplier. So I say, okay, well, for this product that I'm giving to my customer, I'm going to be purchasing it from this supplier. So you're able to piece that together, and there's actually profit calculations right there. It'll show you your margins on the estimate. But you've prepared yourself for when you convert to the kit work order, which is the alternate fulfillment flow, then it automatically generates the purchase orders. So it's in the similar flow where the PO goes out to your supplier, you get the invoice back and everything like that. But the idea is it saves you the whole step of needing to create the one or maybe even multiple purchase orders. And then the whole kit work order is converted into an invoice, just like you would take a normal order to an invoice. And then just to put this into the context, for anybody who's using like maybe a service side of your business, the project management would be one alternative fulfillment flow, or the work orders application. All of these are ways to track the service going out to your customer. All the activities beforehand, like your opportunity management, your estimate management, those are all the same. You're going to use the same apps for every business model. But on the fulfillment, this is what differs based on what that specific deal is. So most companies, these smaller companies, we'd recommend selecting one fulfillment flow. You're either using the kit work orders, or you're using the sales orders, or you're using the other work orders app. But sometimes, especially in a larger company, you might have to use two different flows. Maybe you have two different divisions in your business, or just two completely different product lines, or maybe some services that supplement the products that you sell. Some situations like that, there's certainly reasons to do so. But okay, so here's the general flow. I know it's kind of hard to follow through all of these charts, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hop into the application and show you around, and things will start to come together a lot more. Okay, so here we are. We're currently looking just on the main homepage of my demo account here in Apptivo. And first of all, let's just kind of set the stage for a scenario of what we might talk about, like who is the kit work orders app right for? And let's actually use an example of a company who builds marketing displays. And you intake the order from your customer, and you need to source some materials, and you're going to build this great product. I mean, you're going to put some of your own effort into it, but that's all built in. It's just a matter of buying these materials right away and then getting them shipped off to your customer, or going on site and doing it yourself. So what you need to do is intake this order, and initially you're going to go through your standard sales process. So what we'll want to do is go ahead and let's start off as creating a sales opportunity, and we'll take it from here. So I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to create an opportunity for an existing customer that I have in the system. We'll set it up to go close next month. Then I can leave the rest of these blank. Okay, so I've got my sales opportunity here. We're not going to focus too much on the sales portion. The only thing that you might do at this point is if you have a specific product that you know they're interested in, I can actually attach that right here on the items of interest. There is the integration, but a lot of time you might not have a product available yet. So here we've got our sales opportunity, and we want to get to the point of giving them a quote, so we're going to have to put the products onto the quote, and then at that point we're going to select the suppliers and all that and get all of our pricing. But before we can get any sort of pricing for products, like let's talk about the basics. Okay, well, where are the products stored? How do I set up my suppliers? And how do I pick the prices that I'm going to purchase each one of these products for from the suppliers? So let's go quickly break that down. It all starts with your product database. Before you can do anything, you got to have a product in there. So that's underneath the product management category. It's called the items app. So we'll head into the items application. You can see just browse through my product database by category or name, something like that. But I actually have one already in here, and I'll go show you where it is. So I've got this one called Maxilla Marketing Display. I just created it. It's very simple to input new products. Just type it in here. You enter some basic details, and then it's immediately available in all the other apps that require products. And just as a quick note, you can add products on the fly. Like when you do an estimate, I can add a product straight from there. It's just to do this advanced flow with the automatic purchase orders and everything like that, you definitely want to set everything up ahead of time. This is assuming that you already know what you're buying it from. So during the sales process, if you have to, let's say, get some quotes from your supplier or something like that, then you'll go ahead and get those details, and then we want to come and put the data into the system. So this is my general product database. If I already have an existing product, I can look at it right here, bring up its general details, and you'll see that I actually already have a relationship with a couple suppliers that I can purchase this product from. But let's say that I didn't have this. What if I needed to input a brand new product right here? Well, in that case, the fastest way is actually directly from the supplier's application. So real quick, if you aren't too familiar with the purchasing end of the system, it's broken down into suppliers, which is the equivalent of a customer, where it's a profile for the organization or the company, but then you can have a list of contacts that you know at that supplier, such as the purchasing manager over there. So that is underneath supply chain. It's called the supplier's application, and we're going to head on in there. So let's bring up this Glycex Corp. So here's one of my suppliers. We have their basic details right here. And then we have a tab called Supplier Items. And this will show us the list of products we already have on here with the actual cost versus the retail price. And we can also add in a product at any time. So you'll see here I've already got my Maxilon marking display. Let's say we wanted to create a brand new product. You'll see that it'll ask me where I either start typing in an existing product, so I can just add a new relationship with the supplier to that product, or I can actually hit the new button right here. So I can create a new product and pick the price I'm going to buy it from the supplier at the same time. Yeah, and I can punch in like a standard description that shows up here. I'll leave it blank just to keep it nice and easy. And then this would be the price that you charge to your customer. So the general price on here, this of course can be changed for each estimate, but you just want to go ahead and fill that in. And now that the product is created, you get your internal item number, but now you can key in the item number provided by your supplier, and then also the cost that you're going to get from it. Okay, so I can go ahead and just create that. And now what I have is I've got the product sitting in my database, so if I go to the Items app, I'll be able to find cardboard cutouts. And I also have a relationship with this supplier, so I know that there's a cost of $12.50 per unit whenever I put this onto an estimate or a kit work order. Once you have the supplier set up and the product's already in the database, now we can go through the typical sales process. So once this is in here, I can go ahead and generate my estimate. We can attach that item to the opportunity, and all my pricing information should come right through. So let's step back into the CRM. We'll hop into our sales opportunity, and let's take a look at it. I believe it's set to close in April, right here. And let's just go ahead and attach that product. So just demonstrate the integration with the sales applications right here. So we wanted to find, and we'll just add one of those. Oh, and I also wanted to add the cardboard cutout. Yeah, so get our couple products on right there. You don't see the supplier information right now. We aren't showing any cost information, but that'll get exposed on this next step. So now we've got our products in there, set up with the supplier, all the pricing information's in. We just haven't placed any order. So the customer's asked for an estimate. We'll go ahead and convert to estimate. So yep, standard details all come through. And here we can see our product with the description. Comes straight from the database with the standard pricing. We could make any modifications necessary. We could also, let's say, add some notes on here if we needed to. And then here you'll actually see a line is opened up beneath each one of these products for a supplier. Below, you can ignore these. These are just additional custom fields that you can define just for some further information, such as serial numbers or something. But then here, I can select exactly who I'm going to purchase each one from. And let's do one unique thing here to kind of demonstrate a cool feature, which is you might have an estimate with many products, some of which are from the same supplier and some of which are from a different supplier. So we'll go ahead and let's add a third product in here. Okay, perfect. So what you see is we have a couple products from Glycex Corp, and then we have one product from Clarence Design Boutique. So when we go ahead and process this, you'll notice the system will intelligently generate the correct amount of purchase orders. It's going to create one PO for every supplier that's necessary. All right, so perfect. We've got all this put together. You see our full estimate pops up. We can see the profit we're making off of each line item as well. Now we can email this estimate off to the customer. Standard flow. And up until this point, we haven't really done anything unique. We've selected the supplier here, but I mean, sometimes you want to do that just for information anyways. But this is all just kind of typical. I mean, we could still take this deal in any direction. We could turn it into a project, a work order, a sales order, whatever it might be. But we're about to hit the point where now we deviate into the flow particular to kit work order. So we've got our estimate. Our customer just approved it. You'll notice that they do not see any of that pricing information. All they will see is what they see on a typical invoice. None of the supplier-related details will show up here. So back in here, we've got our estimate sitting in the approved queue. And just like normal, we'll go ahead and we'll take it on to the next stage. So here in the conversion flow, now we're going to pick the way we were going to fulfill this. So we could go straight to billing, or we've got our different fulfillment flows. So right here, the 4 possible fulfillment flows, and we're going to go through the kit work order. All right, so now that we're in this application, we notice it's brought over the same line items and everything. It actually looks fairly similar to the estimate. All of these are called line item applications. They have quite similar functionality to each other. We can apply, let's say, a discount to the whole thing. This would be a discount to your customer because the whole kit work order is an order from your customer, but we're about to get into the parts that relate to your suppliers. So normally at this point you don't make any changes. Everything can be as is, and we'll just go ahead and create it. So I've got this configured to show the financial breakdown of the kit work order throughout the progress. Here you can see that we've created the estimate, and also the PO cost has shown up here automatically. So it knows how much is going to get generated by those POs because the system has actually automatically created our purchase orders already. They have not yet been sent, but they are ready for us, and we can go ahead and just quickly review them and actually deliver them out to our suppliers. So this kind of happened behind the scenes, but you'll see that the Kit Work Order app has our standard 360 view feature. So we can hop on over to this, and we see that actually it's defaulted to the purchase orders, and right there we have 2 POs. So this is what you'd expect. All this information like the billing contact and everything, it's already pre-configured because you have your suppliers and the contacts already in that system. We're just going to read all the defaults that you have configured and set up. So I can look at each one of these, and the process would be, well, I've got this order from my customer. I need to get the product in so I can build my product and deliver it to my customer and get paid. So now I'll go ahead and I can look at this PO, review the details. You'll see for Clarence Design Boutique, we only had the 1 line item included. So just shows it that, and it'll show the cost of the product, and we can actually send this. So, I mean, in some cases, you might just go online or go to a store and purchase it in person, in which case this PO, it's just an area for you to manage that task. So maybe you just put in a task to go to the store and purchase it, or go onto their online portal and make the purchase. But the idea is that you know you need to handle this PO. Either I'm going to send it directly to them via email, or I'm going to go online and handle it. But once I've completed that and I get the billing information back, like the status of this PO will continue to get updated. So the idea is normally you'll send it straight via email. So we have our standard email template system built in here, short little message, and just like the estimates and invoices, we have a PDF generator constructed. So here we'll automatically create a PDF file of your kit work order for you. Shows the basic details just relevant to that one supplier. Or sorry, not kit work order. This is actually in the purchase orders app is where the PDF builder is located. So you can email this to them, or if I just like went to the store, something like that, then I could come in and manually update the status right here. But the idea is that when you place a PO, you're going to have to record the payment off to the supplier. I mean, sometimes they're going to send you product and then give you a net 30. I mean, some might have payment up front. Each one might be different. But the idea is you just want to make sure that each one of these purchase orders has been fully paid off. So there's a corresponding app to purchase orders, which is Supplier Invoices. Just like all the other flows in Apptivo, there's a convert button in the upper right corner. So we can actually convert this purchase order to a supplier invoice. So just to kind of quickly recap, for this flow, I emailed the purchase order off to them, told them I needed their product, then they shipped it, and then they immediately sent me over an invoice. So I get their invoice in the mail, I see that, hey, the product's en route, it'll be here in a couple days, but now I just want to go ahead and take care of my payment, just get it out of the way. So when I get that invoice, I'll come in here, find the corresponding PO, and I convert it. And the idea is you'll just record the invoice number that was provided from your supplier, so we get a nice digital copy, but all the details should be the same. Potentially they change the price on you, which hopefully doesn't happen. I mean, unless they lower the price for you, but you do have the flexibility to change pricing on the fly if for some reason it was different. And then we can just go ahead and create that. So this just indicates that you've received the invoice. Some people might have a process where one person receives the invoice and then needs to go tell the accountant or somebody else to actually complete the payment, in which case you'll notice we have a separate status for a supplier invoice that's just received and created versus the ones that are paid. So the idea is once this is actually paid off and taken care of, to get it out of the standard queue, it's because I can just look at all my unpaid invoices right here. I'll see, oh, we've got an outstanding unpaid invoice. I can come in here and I just mark it off as paid. So I can say I paid him through a check, document the check number I paid him off with, and then go ahead and close this out. So for that, I've now completely closed out the whole PO flow. Clearance Design Boutique, they're totally taken care of. The products come into my door any day, and that's all complete. But we also had the other PO, which went off to my other supplier, and we're really just going to run through the same process for that. So let's hop back into the Kit work order app under Financials, and we can find our Kit work order, or our purchase orders from right here. Also, one thing you'll notice is now that we've processed one invoice, our table right here updates, and it shows us the current status of everything as far as cash going in and out. Okay, so at this point, I'll probably go through and send off this purchase order and get this purchase order all handled. So send, same kind of thing, convert to supplier invoice. Notice I've got both line items on here. Create the supplier invoice. Oops, forgot the number from them. Okay, and then mark it off as paid. Perfect. So we have now purchased all the product necessary. It's en route to your office, and now you'd be waiting again. So once everything gets there, you're going to do the internal work. So let's say if you had some tasks, you need to involve some of your teammates, get them to maybe do some of the work and piecing everything together. The Kit work order is your digital workspace for all the operations around this. So think of this if you're thinking about like, oh, I need project management to piece this together. Well, we can just use the tasks feature right here. Any appointments or email conversations or documents, like specifications, anything relevant to the construction of this order, it can all happen right here. So I can go create my tasks to piece them together, to go buy some more supplies, whatever it might be. Everything can be controlled through the activities, all the standard features right here. I can always keep track of all the invoices and all that from right here. But the idea is that once I've purchased all my product and I've constructed everything, I can go ahead and I can send it off to my customer. So all the shipping activities, everything can be tracked here. I mean, one common thing to do is if you are doing shipping, there's no direct integration with the Shipment app, but you could very easily, let's say, create some custom fields on the top of this page. So let's say that you do want to track shipments on here. Let's go ahead and just run through and show you how easy that is to construct. So I'll be able to use our custom attributes feature, and let's just call this the shipment details. So I could indicate like what it was shipped, when it was shipped. I mean, I could do like ship Maybe like a tracking number, something like that. And maybe who shipped it. Yeah, I mean, maybe you also want to put like the provider. Okay, so you get the point. I can go ahead and just add my own details in, and now I have some additional information that I can track for each one of these kit work orders to help me get it resolved. So now I come through here, and when I'm ready to go ahead and ship that off to my customer, I could have initially put in target ship date. So okay, we just shipped it on the 3rd, got my tracking ID, and we shipped it via 2-day air. So I can go ahead and just key in those details. It's just for information. There won't be like reporting on these details or anything like that yet, but you do have the ability to track that info. Okay, so I've shipped the product out, and in your policy, just keep in mind there's several points at which you might bill a customer. So now we're on to the point that all that's left is to bill them. Some companies might send the invoice right away. Maybe before you pay any purchase order, you need to get payment from the customer. So one thing to take note of here is there's a different status between completing the kit work order, which indicates that you have delivered or fulfilled the order. You've sent it to the customer or gone on site and given it to the customer, which is different than getting paid for the kit work order. So to get paid for this kit work order, at any time I can convert to an invoice. Even before the kit work order has been started or I've done anything, I can immediately generate an invoice, but it leaves the kit work order open. But in this case, I've just completed it, so I'll go ahead and mark my kit work order as complete. So now that comes out of the queue of active work orders I need to have, but now I'll go ahead and bill for it, so I convert to an invoice. So here we go. I've converted to invoice, custom fields and invoicing app. You see the product details have come over. None of the cost or supplier related information is displayed here, only the details designed for your customer. I can, of course, add any additional services or anything like that at this point. We're back to our kind of standard invoicing flow here. There's nothing really unique to the kit work order at this point. It's just been a facilitator for that list of products that came from your estimate. And the primary benefit that we got from this flow was the ability to automatically create those purchase orders. Instead of having to type in the product details several times, have to select your contacts or anything like that, it can generate up an unlimited number of purchase orders. So if you have 50 line items on your estimate sourced from 15 different suppliers, it can save you quite a bit of effort. But at this point, standard, they pay it off, it completes the actual invoice, and then the one thing I didn't show you is, okay, so let's go ahead and get this completed, is the financial summary that appears on the kit work order to understand the overall profit on that entire order. So back in here, I can review that. We'll check out our completed kit work orders. We see that one we just processed. And you can see that we recorded a 70% profit on that order right there. One thing I didn't demonstrate at all was actually including the shipping costs. It will demonstrate the difference in the profit and loss, including your discounting and everything along each layer. We just kind of did a very basic setup. Yep, so that's it. That would be the end of the kit work order. But just to keep in mind, so let's fast forward 6 months in the future, providing support for the customer. I mean, how do I get back to that information? What if I want to know the last few orders that I executed for a customer? They call me up next year and they want to rerun the same order. So in that case, it's hooked back into the CRM. Just like all of our other applications are, I can go look up this customer profile, bring up their detail page. I can hop on over. I can utilize that 360 view to find the related information. You'll see mine's defaulted to projects. You could even default yours to kit work orders. So actually, let's do that. Let's say you're using the kit work order app primarily. Here's one cool little tip you can utilize, which is you can hop into the settings. And then I will go to views. And you'll see default 360 app. So right here, your fulfillment app is actually, oh darn. Unfortunately, it's not in the default, so we can't make that change. Well, it'll have to be one click away. So we can hop in here, go to the 360, and select kitting work orders. And there we go. There's our full list. You see I've actually executed quite a few. And I can see the details of each one of them. I can click from here. And let's say that the customer wants to place a brand new order. Well, I might create it right here. Maybe they want another quote again. So I can immediately initiate the next deal by creating a new estimate. And then it comes full circle. We head right back into the estimate, pick our products, pick our suppliers, go create another kit work order. Okay, so that's basically the end of the actual process. Just to kind of quickly recap, if you're looking at this and deciding between whether the kit work order flow is correct for you or whether the sales order flow or the work order flow is right for you, let's just go ahead and take a moment to review the most popular solutions. The three most popular solutions are shown right here. They're on our main website. The kit work order is actually not in the top three. It's our number 4 most popular solution. So at first it breaks down to you're selling a product or you're selling a service. The kit work order a lot of the time could be a service and a product, but always you're selling some sort of product included in what you're doing. The sales orders app, you're selling the product and specifically involving shipment and inventory tracking, whereas the kit work order app is specifically involving purchasing and receiving the product in order to build that one order. You can do inventory tracking in addition to the kit work order flow, but it's totally manual. So this is one of the points where if you sound like you're in between these two solutions, just consider which one of these takes more effort. Does it take more effort for you day to day to track the current inventory count and remember when to purchase new inventory? Or does it take more effort to file POs out to your suppliers and track what status one of these purchases is at and indicating exactly what products need to be purchased for each order? Whichever one of these takes the more effort, you should choose that as your primary flow because you can always use the sales order, the product sales process, and then go manually create purchase orders. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. It's just a question of which flows are cleanly connected together. And then on the other end of it, you have the work orders app, which is that you're sending an employee on site and they need to track materials and labor. And then the project management flow, which is you're tracking either hourly services or could be flat rate services, but this is typically services done from within your office or done remotely, and all you're tracking is the service itself, no products involved. Okay, so that's the end of the presentation. As far as getting help moving forward, if you have any further questions, feel free to contact me at todd@apptivo.com. I'm definitely a little bit better at more subjective questions. To get the fastest response, you can rely on one of our support channels. So, of course, you can come here to our community page. You can ask a question, post it online. You also find tons of help articles online available right here, such as details on the kit work order app. You can also chat with us. So inside of the app at any time, you'll see we have built-in support chat. And of course, you can email us or give us a call if you're a premium user, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll be happy to help. So thanks everybody for attending, and we'll see you next time.